This is the Transformers Cybertron Robot in Disguise Deluxe Class Override GTS. This figure was part of a 2003 release from Hasbro, I believe. This is the second version of the Override mold. I picked up this figure from a local hobby shop called Toy Asylum. They are on Facebook and they have their own website. Go check them out. Let's get this guy out of packaging. So before we begin, I want to show off a couple things. We got the instructions. Man, I missed these old classics universe type of instructions. They weren't the best instructions in the world, but they were okay. What I do miss from Transformers now is these sort of catalogs that show off the other figures in the line. And this was one of the things I was looking forward to the most when I got a new Transformers toy from the toy shop. And this was what I was actually excited to see because I wanted to see what the upcoming figures were. And they stopped doing this. It's a shame because that was part of the thrill of getting a new toy. So anyway, here is Cybertron Override. Out of packaging, we're going to begin in alt mode since this is how he's packaged. I've always felt he's sort of like a crustacean or a lobster type of vehicle, like a lobster mobile, because of these huge fenders he has. These actually form the feet, and he's obviously a Cybertronian race car. Actually rolls very nicely. It's a very hefty type of race car, and he's got the Cyberplanet key gimmick that if you put it on, this is the weapon. You can detach this weapon in robot mode, but in car mode, if you punch that cyber key in, you deploy these weapons. Not that big of a deal, but back then it was a pretty cool gimmick. Now, let's compare him to our current deluxe class figure. This is what, 2003? Now it's 2022. Yeah, this is the deluxe class figures now that we get. Even if it's a price point, obviously the plastic has gone through some inflation and all that, but you see the disparity. This is a deluxe class figure. This is a deluxe class figure back in the day. So let's transform him into his robot mode. It's a very, very cool transformation. You can remove the weapon right here. Remove that and fold that back in if you wanted to. Okay, and back in the day, this was sort of the transformation was sort of the fast action battler, or the one-step transformation gimmick back in the day, which is contemporarily known as a one-step kind of gimmick. I don't know if that was intentional, but so you push this front part of the car and out pops his arms, his chest moves back, his head pops out, and I thought it was a pretty cool gimmick. I love these one-step gimmicks more than the automorph gimmicks. I do love the automorph gimmicks, but I do love it when the transformation engineering gives you more than just, you know, swiveling and you move your own thing, and when they kind of transform on their own, but you have to initiate the transformation, much like how the automorph gimmick was and the one-step change gimmick. I thought that was a pretty neat thing to be in a 2003 toy. So detach the legs onto this middle piece. This middle piece is going to tab back here. You can, obviously you can keep this one here if you wanted to, and this one would tab in here, but we're going to use that weapon later on. Anyway, then you swivel the hips this way and form the waist piece, and then you just swivel the thighs like this, fold up the feet, and there you go. Let me just fix that. There is Override in his robot mode. He's not much to look at. He's a little disproportionate. Yeah, the arms are a little bit too small. The torso is way too big. And, oh, let me just bring out the heel spurs. Yeah, but back in the day, I thought it was a pretty cool Cybertronian robot as well. I mean, obviously Cybertronian mode as well as Cybertronian alt mode. I thought it was pretty cool. So you can remove the weapon. I'll put that back right there, his tail. And then the same gimmick applies if you put the planet key, cyber key. You pop out his weapons. There's not a lot you could do. I mean, he's pretty cool. I love the aesthetic, the boxiness, and lots of jutting parts here and there, lots of spikes here and there. But, you know, back in 2003, this was actually a pretty cool looking toy. Okay, paint apps, not too bad. It's got some red flame deco everywhere. He's got some silver paint right there. It's got a wonderful looking head sculpt. Let me give you a close-up look on that. I love this head sculpt. Pretty accurate, I guess, as accurate as can be to how he appeared on the show. Articulation for the figure. The neck can sort of, it's on a hinge, but the backpack is really hindering the left to right movement. There's no waist articulation or torso articulation. The arms sort of have these butterfly joints because of transformation. You go forward and backward, go in and out. You got a hinge elbow. Wrists, nope, no articulation. Oh, bicep swivel. Okay, the hips are on ball joints. Thighs are on swivels, as I mentioned, as I've shown you guys earlier. You got a 90-degree hinge knees, and the feet can go up and down. So, a pretty cool looking Cybertron figure. Let me give you some comparisons. 6 years later, this is how a deluxe class is. It's almost the same size as how it was in 2003. This is the Revenge of the Fallen deluxe class Bumblebee. And then 19 years later, here is how a deluxe class now looks like. It's much smaller in comparison, but the details are still there. I mean, got to give it to Hasbro, right? They put the money somewhere, right? Engineering and all that. So you see the evolution of the deluxe class over a period of 19 or 20 years. And so some final thoughts on this Transformers Cybertron Deluxe Class Override GTS. I think it's still a cool figure to this day. Back in the day, the Cybertron figures as well as the Energon and Armada figures were really some of the coolest Transformers to own. I kind of regret not getting these figures back then when they were so cheap, and I missed out a lot on these figures, but I'm slowly trying to get the figures one at a time, just picking out those that I really like. This is one figure that I really enjoyed, and I cannot wait to get some more figures from this line. The figure is going to get an 8 out of 10. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think of this Transformers Cybertron Override GTS. Hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.